Everybody in this room has this unique opportunity to live out your dream. And the journey that we're about to go on is going to be a hard journey. We're going to be challenged at every turn. The expectations are going to be high. The standards are going to be high. The accountability is going to be high. I make a pledge to you. Our staff makes a pledge to you. Make a pledge to yourself and to each other. We'll hold ourselves and each other accountable to those standards.
It's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett here in the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios at the Star in Frisco as the Cowboys back from their bye week, taking on the San Francisco 49ers Sunday afternoon in the Bay Area. My first question for you, Coach, is how was the team when they came back from the bye? The players had a 4-day weekend, extra bounce in their step when they got back?
Yeah, no question about it. You know, people always ask you, does the bye come at a good time? In a 16-game NFL season, it's always a good time. You always have guys who are banged up, nicked up, need to get refreshed, and I think our team did a good job of doing that. Had a couple good practices during the bye week, then got them out of here, and they came back in ready to go once we got to work on the Niners.
And, of course, as this week began, we found out that Ezekiel Elliott will be able to play this week against San Francisco. Really didn't miss any practice time during the bye week or this week, but I want to take you back to that final drive against the Packers. And how much does this team gain, or is there a carryover effect from that last drive from a run game perspective because of the persistence that you had and you had success late in that game?
Yeah, you said it. You need to be persistent in the National Football League running the ball. And, you know, we've known that. If you look back over the last year or so since Zeke has been our running back, you know, the more patient you are, sometimes the runs are 3 and 4 and 5 yards early on in the game, and they become the 9, 10, 11, 25 yarders that you get late in the game. So you have to keep banging away. Scott Linehan did a great job in the ball game, maintaining balance throughout, being patient with it. And I think over the course of the game, our guys up front started to wear their guys down, and Zeke got stronger as it went.
All right, this might be a little inside football a little bit, but I was listening to Mike McCarthy's press conference the day after that game, and he was talking about his defense and the difficulty they had, especially on that drive, getting the right personnel on the field. I look back at the coach's film, 17-play drive, you used 5 different personnel groupings. In fact, it was the 12th play of that drive before you use on back-to-back plays the same personnel group. Personnel groups, how does that impact the defense?
Well, you want to attack the defense different ways. And, you know, it starts with run and pass. You want to be a team that can run the ball and throw it to different guys. But a big part of attacking them different ways is using personnel and using formations. And if you line up in the same formation with the same personnel group over and over and over again, you're kind of saying to the defense, okay, you don't have to worry about anything before the snap. It's all about after the snap. But when you are challenging them with personnel, running guys in and out, and then you have a role for them, and then you put them in places, different spots in the formation, all of a sudden there's a lot of stuff that they need to deal with before the ball snapped. Now, you got to be careful of going too crazy with this stuff because then you're kind of hurting yourself. You need to be best after the ball snapped. But if you can be effective using different personnel and lining them up in different spots, it can be very challenging for a defense.
And it says a lot about the players that you have on offense. And you got a healthy group right now, but I want to ask you about Tyron Smith and what he's going through right now. Of course, he had a back issue last year. He's a tough guy, and you're managing it as best you can during practice, right?
Well, he is a tough guy. He's mentally tough and he's physically tough. And the biggest thing we're trying to do is get him to the game on Sunday. And he's had this back issue that flared up a little bit over the last few weeks. And, you know, if that means he can't practice on a particular Wednesday, but he practices Thursday, Friday to get ready for the game, he's an experienced enough guy to do that. But, you know, for him, it's never a question of your toughness. He wants to practice. He wants to play every snap on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's just his nature. But sometimes you got to help a guy and make sure that he's at his best for those 3 hours on Sunday afternoon.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, we're joined by David Moore with an update from the owners' meeting in New York this past week.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. And as promised, back from New York, here he is, David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com, a rather eventful trip up to New York.
Lot going on there. Yeah, you had the meetings open on Tuesday in Lower Manhattan, and about 5 hours after Jerry walked into the room to join the rest of his owners where they were talking about the national anthem and other issues, you had a ruling in a court in the Southern District of New York about 3 or 4 miles away, a temporary restraining order which allows Ezekiel Elliott to play in the San Francisco game coming up.
And so that's a big victory for the Cowboys as far as this week is concerned.
And for Elliott for this week, still uncertainty. The thing is, you would have thought you would have had resolution this week whether or not he was going to start serving the suspension during the season, or it was going to be, this process was going to be prolonged into the offseason and you're pushing it off into potentially next year. Now you're not going to have that resolution until the end of this month, around the 30th, because the sitting judge was on vacation. And so the judge that heard the case just heard part of it, only heard the temporary restraining order, did not want to rule on the preliminary injunction. And so now once she gets back, they will hear on that. And then at that stage, Cowboys fans should know whether or not he will be available to play for the rest of the season, or if he will have to start serving suspension.
And of course, the Redskin game is the 29th. He mentions the hearing on the 30th. All right, how about the other news coming out, which is the draft is going to be held at AT&T Stadium in April. Yeah,
big news for Dallas. It was down to them in Philadelphia, which did such a wonderful job last year, universally praised in how they handled it. This is a big economic hit for the area, not just the Cowboys. Philadelphia, I believe, their report showed it pumped $94 million into the local economy and supported 30,000 jobs over that month. That gives you a range of what this is. And the Cowboys have a really interesting concept with it. All 3 nights will be at AT&T Stadium, and they're going to turn it into an indoor-outdoor venue. All of Cowboy fans who are frustrated by the roof being closed all the time, the roof will be open for the draft, along with the doors in the end zone, and it's going to flow from the floor of the stadium out to the plazas, the parking lot. They're really going to, Charlotte Jones-Anderson was talking about how they really want to go with a spring festival feel. It will be that sort of environment. And anyone who has seen political conventions, national, Republican or Democratic conventions where you have delegations with their flags and you see them in these stadiums all together, they will duplicate that as well. They will have all 32 teams will have basically their delegation around them. So it should be a really fun feel.
All right, now the goal for the Cowboys is not to have a high draft pick.
Exactly. They do not want to be in the top, yeah.
And so to do that, they need to win at San Francisco on Sunday.
Yeah, coming off the bye, facing a winless San Francisco team, although a 49ers team that's very competitive. All of their losses have been by 3 points and a couple in overtime. They put themselves in position to win. That's going to scare any coach because it's like, are they going to break through this week? The Cowboys can't afford to have them break through because if this Dallas team is 2-4 going forward, they've really put themselves in a bind in the NFC race.
And it's the rubber game in the series. It's 17-17-1 right now. All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. And up next, Mickey Spagnola with a very special guest, cornerback Jordan Lewis.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. I'm Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios. And now let's go down the hallway into Ford Center, where Mickey Spagnola has a special guest, a rookie defensive starter.
Thanks, Bill. I'm with Cowboys rookie cornerback Jordan Lewis. Cowboys coming back after their bye. What does the bye do for you? Mentally, physically? Does it kind of rejuvenate you in both spots?
Yeah. I mean, you're just coming off of no time, traveling if you're going or, in the hotel, you're just sitting at home and, just watching some football, chilling. So it's definitely a good thing to get some time off and just get recharged and come in and focus for the next week.
So you've come a long way since the start of training camp, kind of started camp with your hand tied behind your back with the hamstring problem, had to do a lot of watching. You're a rookie, you're anxious to get going. How tough was that to go through?
It was tough, especially, you know, missing the whole training camp. You know, you're just frustrated. You know, you're thinking that you're not going to get any time, you know, in the actual season because you missed just about every day preparing that off season. But it's definitely been an experience, though. You know, I'm just blessed to be in a position I am right now.
You ever have to go through something like that before? That long?
Not really, no. I mean, I have sat out some, you know, a few weeks, but not a whole month. You know, just waiting to play football. So it was definitely a trying time, but I'm glad to be in the position I am.
And it looks like you've kind of made up for lost time because your snaps are keep going up week by week by week. Mm-hmm. How much does that mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. Definitely coming in, you know, not expecting, you know, much of your rookie year, but just happy to step up and be the guy that, you know, the team needs me to be. So just learning every week and just getting that experience is definitely a good thing.
So you mentioned learning every week. Give me an idea of things you have learned, things you've picked up that maybe you didn't realize in college that when you get in the NFL, I got to be good at this.
Details were, you know, especially a big part in every week now. I mean, they were in college, but now you have to be fine-tuning with everything. But it's definitely an experience, you know, just learning and trying to hone in on those details and trying to, you know, be the best player I can be on the field.
So we joked about this a couple weeks ago when you first got thrown in, injuries, and it's like you hadn't really practiced at this position or that position, and you had to go play. But now you've got to be able to practice. You've been on the nickel, been at right corner. How much has that been able to make a difference in your play?
You know, experience is is second to none. When you get out there and you're playing, it's definitely the best learning, you know, technique. When you get out there and you're playing against the best, I mean, you have no other choice but to get better. So I'm just happy to get out there as soon as I did, and, you know, trying to go out there and perform. So.
Okay, appreciate your time, Bill. Cowboys cornerback Jordan Lewis, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mickey. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins us, and we talk about the San Francisco 49ers and the pride of Coppell High School, Solomon Thomas. The Jason Garrett Show continues now as we take a look at the San Francisco 49ers with Will McClay. We're going to take an up-close look at Carlos Hyde, averaging 4.2 yards a carry. This is a guy that preceded Zeke Elliott at Ohio State.
Another one, that long line of backs. He was before Zeke. And we're going to show you how the 49ers use their offense. Kyle uses some of the elements of his father with the zone running scheme, kind of mixes it up, but we'll take a look at a couple things. Here, they're going to show you it's going to be his own action. That means the offensive line, they're going to go this way. Okay, now they do a unique deal. Okay, they're going to have a receiver go in ghost motion. Ghost motion is going to hold this guy. The fullback's going to go here and block this guy. Hyde's going to start and then come back here. It's a bend back play. You see how it influences the defense, but watch him get to the second level. Here we go. Start the play. You see everybody goes. Now, sets up the block. Then he gets to the second level. He's got this burst that gets you to the second level. Maybe not great top-end speed, but at 230 pounds, once you get to that second level, hard to stop. Take a look at the second play, and there's the old.
Yeah, there's the Zeke.
All right, now they're going to run the zone play, the true zone play. Okay, they're going to have this guy, he's going to come in motion. Okay, then they're going to run the zone. Everybody's going to be going in a direction. What happens is they get penetration. What kills the zone run is penetration. This guy penetrates, this guy penetrates. They don't get their blocks. But you'll see him stretch the play, which is key for the zone play. You got to stretch it, set up the defense, and then he makes a cut, and he doesn't worry about these backside guys. Receiver goes in motion. You'll see the nose, and they miss their blocks, but he presses it, and then he gets vertical, and you can't tackle him with one person tackling him. Then we'll take a look at one more play. It's the standard sweep play. Okay? He's going to rely on his people. They're going to let this guy go. The fullback's going to block him. He's going to get to the second level. He's got to block his guy. He's got to block his guy. And the fullback has to block this defensive end. You'll watch Hyde read, set up the block, and then explode through the second level. You see the fullback, he reads the block. He kicks him out. He cuts it up. The receiver does his job. Again, arm tackles won't bring him down. We've got to gang tackle and be around him. He's a big part of the game because they're going to be starting a rookie quarterback.
And being that one-cut type runner, that's a key in a Shanahan offense?
Yes, you've got to have patience. You've got to press the hole. You've got to have vision. And then you've got to put your foot in the ground and get vertical. And with 230 pounds, we've got to get 11 guys around the ball.
I don't get too high or too low in any situation. I try and stay, pretty mellow because I know the game of football, there's a lot of ups and downs, and you never want to get too mad when you have a bad play or too high when you have a good one. It's all about staying mellow and staying the same through all of it.
And thanks to Will McClay, as usual, joining us here on the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. The coach rejoins me now, talking about Carlos Hyde. Let's talk about the rookie quarterback who will be making his first start for San Francisco. C.J. Beathard, third-round pick out of Iowa. You got to know him a little bit during the draft process, didn't you?
Yeah, a good football player in college, and a lot of what we saw in their game last week against the Redskins is how he played in college. He's really a natural leader. Again, he's physically tough. He's mentally tough. He has a little bit of a moxie about him that allows him to, make the plays when he needs to. Always seems like the ball's moving when he's playing quarterback. Did a really good job in the game the other day. Not an easy situation for a rookie quarterback to go in to the middle of an NFL game for his first action. Handled it well and really gave them a spark.
And yeah, they were down 17-0 in the second quarter. Wound up being a 2-point game. And speaking of that, with the San Francisco team, 5 straight games decided by just 13 points. And, you can make the case that they are 5 plays away from being a 5-1 team right now.
Yeah, all we do is watch the tape. And you said it. They've been in all these close games. For whatever reason, in each of them, they've come up on the short end of it. But, the tape is good. They're a good offensive team. They got some players on defense who challenge on all 3 levels, and they got guys in the kicking game who are awfully good and have changed the game as well. So, we watch the tape. We understand what the challenge we have is this week.
And they've invested in their defensive front. Solomon Thomas out of Coppell High School. Shout out to his old college or high school coach, Joe McBride, who's now the AD at Coppell. And he's going to be a stud for a lot of years in this league, isn't he?
Yeah, again, one of the most highly regarded players coming out in the draft, and easy to see why. He's off to a great start. He's a very active guy on their defensive front. He's a good run defender. He's around the quarterback a lot. He chases the ball, and has just been very productive right from the start. So they certainly got a good one, and there's no question he was trained well at Coppell High School. They did a great job with him.
Run defense for your team. How big will it be having Sean Lee and Anthony Hitchens on the field for the first time together this season?
Well, stopping the run is the big challenge in this ball game. Carlos Hyde is their runner, and they do a great job with him. They have a lot of different schemes they use. Their offensive line is good. They've been productive, running the football. So it starts there. Certainly, when you get a player of Sean Lee's caliber back in the lineup, that's going to help you. He's obviously very, very productive for us, both defending the run and defending the pass, but also a really good leader. The guys respond to him. He gets them lined up really well. To have him and Hitch side by side, and then have Jalen and Durant and some of the other guys we have in there, it certainly bolsters the linebacker core.
All right, we wrap up the Jason Garrett Show in just a moment with our Unsung Hero of the Week. Inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios here at the Star, welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, as it is time for our weekly feature, the Unsung Hero of the Week. And we're going to go back to 2005 is when he came out of Cal. He's going back to the Bay Area. Of course, he's a Montreal native. And LP Ladouceur, your deep snapper, he's been doing it at a very special rate for 13 years in this league now.
Yeah, he's not unsung in our locker room.
Right.
And, he's someone who has great respect from his coaches and from his teammates. And, his role is such a critical role. People start to take the operation of snap, hold, and kick and snapping the ball to the punter for granted. And when you have a guy like LP, it's easy to see why. He never misses, knock on wood, and spins it back there. It's always catchable. It's always easy for Chris as the holder to get the ball down. The laces are right. The pace is right. It's accurate. And he's a big reason why those guys have been so successful. And, he's one of those guys that is just he's a quiet leader on our football team. Again, so well respected. The guys follow him. They respect what he's all about. He's been a great football player for us for a long time.
And on Sunday, it's 202 straight games for LP. And by the way, the number now is 1,771 clean snaps in a row for LP. Enjoy the game, everybody out there, and good luck to you against the 49ers on Sunday.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right, we will see you again next week right here on the Jason Garrett Show.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Susan G. Komen, reminding you that early detection saves lives. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.